So Calvin Ridley in the Madden Pick a Side League has been suspended for 1 game. But in real life, Calvin Ridley just got suspended for an entire season for gambling and betting on games. And this is going to be the first topic of the show. This breaking news, I mean, what are your thoughts on him getting suspended for the entire year on gambling?
You hate to see it.
Because gambling.
Yeah, you hate to see it because we were talking, first of all, he missed all of last season with mental health issues, right? And that's something that is really the first time we saw any player in the NFL at least sit out an entire year, at least that I can remember, or maybe someone up to his caliber sit out because of mental health issues. Is the audio good now? Just went out?
Audio good.
Okay. So it was a bit of a unique situation, but we were all happy that, it sounded like he was going to return. And even for the first couple episodes when we're going through all these team previews, all the teams that need a receiver, all of us are saying, oh, maybe go get Calvin Ridley. I know, the Jets episode we did, that was both of ours. Number one option was go and get Calvin Ridley, a number one receiver, a great route runner. It's going to fit perfectly in LaFleur's offense. And then this comes out, this bombshell really out of nowhere that no one was expecting. And it's such unique situation for Ridley. It's like, when's the last time you heard a player get suspended for gambling? We heard about it, obviously, in baseball, like the Black Sox days, and even I'm sure there's been times since that, Pete Rose as well. But like the last time that this caliber of player gets suspended for a whole year, and I'm sure you're going to talk about your tweet as well, the NFL's stance and policies when it comes to suspending players is just ridiculous. The fact that you could get away with any sort of domestic abuse, child abuse, drug cases, whatever it might be, and you're suspended 3 or 4 games, and Calvin Ridley, who gambles, and don't get me wrong, it's not right. He shouldn't be gambling on the games. It's clear as day, regardless if you're playing or not, that you can't gamble. But even still, to suspend him an entire season, especially, I would imagine that football is probably somewhat of an outlet for him, for his mental health, being able to just get in a routine every day, going to the gym, the field, whatever it might be, being around the guys for a whole year. Like, that would, I don't want to speak for him, but to me, that seems like something that would be good for him, an outlet to go out and do something rather than now he has to be, he's not going to be home, but whatever it might be, if sitting out in a whole nother season, not be in the locker room with the guys for another year.
He's going to be tempted to log into FanDuel.
I hope not. There were some ridiculous tweets out there, but the NFL has for years, ever since really that Ray Rice situation where he got suspended, 2 games, and then they upped it to 4 or something, that ridiculous video.
No, I think once it came out, I think that was really a wrap for him.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I think that was it.
What do you mean?
He did not play a game after the video
get signed again.
Correct.
Yeah, he was suspended by the NFL though, but he wasn't suspended by the Ravens or anything like that. He kind of just got blackballed from the league. Listen, as he should have. You shouldn't be doing something like that. And even someone like Josh Gordon, who got suspended.
That was horrible. That's
the
years the
worst one. Because of weed.
That's the worst one.
So
and alcohol abuse. You got
yeah, for sure.
Honest.
But he's not getting suspended for alcohol abuse. He's got suspended because he failed drug tests.
Correct.
So I hope Calvin Ridley, he said he doesn't have a gambling problem. I don't imagine he has one, especially being an NFL player. It's not like he could bet on all of these things. So
and was that tweet real? That
it was. He really
tweet.
He sent out 3 or 4 tweets just talking about the situation. And one of it was I just spent $1,500, and to him that's pocket change. It's like $20 to us. I don't have a gambling problem. So 2023 he'll come back. He's going to be 28, turning 29. He's going to be a free agent the year after that. So it sucks to see because he's an amazing player, but he should be suspended, but not for the whole year.
Definitely should be suspended. You can't be betting on games. It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality of things. You can come in and you can negatively impact the game, and you're only doing it for your benefit. I understand the logic of why you're not allowed to gamble. But you said it perfectly. There are situations where people should be suspended more or for a longer duration than they actually are suspended. But the one time where I feel like the league has gotten it right is that Deshaun Watson did not play last season. And it's also true that they could not suspend him technically because there wasn't an actual felony charge to his name. However, there's no doubt in my mind that the league went to the Texans and said there's no way you're allowing him to step foot on this field until something's resolved. Whether that was the team decision, NFL decision, they must have mutually came together and understood that he cannot see the field this season. So that's the one of recent memory where I can at least say they got it right here. But all the events that you listed were perfectly correct. Ridley's being suspended longer or for a longer duration than Tyreek Hill, who had an incident and was not suspended. AP actually missed the whole season.
Well, I thought it was because it was
correct.
Injury.
The team decided that he would not play, but he actually did miss that entire season.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure the NFL was only going to suspend him a couple games or something.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I feel like similarly to Deshaun Watson, it's one of those guys where You can't put him in a position to be on a field, face this type of scrutiny, especially when you're an all-star caliber type player, superstar caliber type player like Adrian Peterson is, like Deshaun Watson is. But this one near and dear to my heart. Josh Gordon being suspended for 2-3 full seasons for marijuana abuse, alcohol abuse. Again, we have people that have been in domestic violence altercations. You have people that have been in child abuse altercations, and they've gotten suspended for less time than this. Now, you have Calvin Ridley, who has bet on games, and yes, I agree, it is wrong. Should he be suspended for an entire season because of it? Absolutely not. I think he should be suspended. I do have my thoughts of the mental illness stepping into play with him also coming into this situation. But if what he's saying is true, that he only bet $1,500, then I'm not really trying to piece too many puzzles together and him using this as an excuse, or he did this and the team knew about it, and so they kept him out for longer than that. But he was already out before then. So there's nothing that you can look at and say he missed this time and the Falcons knew about this. That's irrelevant. I don't think that it's an issue for him in terms of his actual addiction to it. I do believe that he should be suspended, but for the full season, absolutely not.
Now, I think the most disappointing thing about this whole situation
is I can't go to the Jets.
is that Calvin Ridley's not going to be a New York Jet.
That's tragic. I'm sorry, man.
It breaks my heart because I had a good feeling he was the guy we were going to trade for. But now it's on to Amari Cooper, and now it's on to the situation. He's suspended for the entire year, and the NFL released a statement that the gambling on games was like over a 5-day stretch in November when he was on non-football injury list to address his mental health because he took a leave of absence for football near Halloween because a lot of stuff was going on with him. He said in his tweets, the summary of it, if you don't want to go and read it, was he bet $1,500. He doesn't have a gambling problem, and he knows he was wrong. Now, using the $1,500 mark or using that reasoning to justify him not having a gambling problem is not a good explanation, in my opinion, because it wasn't $1,500. It was $10,150,000. I mean, $10,001,500, because the NFL, in its rule book, it says NFL personnel, people that work for the NFL, NFL employees, NFL players, they can't bet on games. They can't do it. They can join fantasy leagues if it's like friendly fantasy
or charity.
But or for charity, but they can't get anything. They can't get a jackpot back of anything bigger than $250, which means that they can only play fantasy football for fun, for free. They can't join daily fantasy contests, and they can't bet. This is a reckless decision by Calvin Ridley. It's as simple as that.
No doubt.
And while I do agree with the fact that the suspension may have been a little too long, like if we were to think of alternatives, maybe you cut his paycheck in half. Maybe instead of getting $10 million, Atlanta just has to pay him $5 million, and he gets like a 4-game suspension. I would be like, okay, that's more reasonable. I'm with that. And like you guys mentioned, there have been cases in the past where players have had domestic assault cases, domestic abuse cases, and they have gotten less games for something like this. But that doesn't change the fact that what Calvin Ridley did was wrong, and he knows he was wrong, and he admitted to it. I mean, for one, you're not even trying to defend yourself and just openly admitting like, yeah, I bet it was $1,500, not a big deal. I mean, I think it still is a big deal. You cost yourself $10 million, and the worst part is you cost yourself $10 million to bet on the Atlanta Falcons.
They actually said it was that game against the Jaguars, though.
Yeah, I get it, but you bet $10 million. I mean, you bet a lot of money. You bet money on the Atlanta Falcons. To me, I don't even think he was trying to win at that point. It didn't even look like he was trying to win. He was just trying to lose.
He had like 7-game parlay or something crazy.
The interesting thing about this, though, is that the NFL actually came out with a statement, and they said that Calvin Ridley, from what they found in their investigation, he did not have any insider information, which means that he bet
fairly
like a fan.
Correct.
He bet like us. Because of that, I think the year-long suspension is wrong. He should have still got suspended. It should have been a harsh punishment, but this was the harshest punishment the NFL could think of.
Yes, for sure.
But I do think players, personnel, employees of the NFL should not bet on games because it ruins the integrity of the game. In a league where fans already question referees, in a league where after every big game, whichever side loses, there's a lot of conspiracy theories on both ends of rigging going on. The NFL can't have those accusations pile up with now saying, okay, players are free to bet on games. Because, I mean, believe it or not, these players are human too, and if they see a financial gain by not making a catch and, you know, betting on their under or betting on their over, I mean, it becomes a huge, gigantic problem. So I understand, and it sucks because he, you know, this is an unfortunate situation, but it's a reckless decision by him. Like, he should have never been betting in the first place. He said he wasn't even watching football at the time. Like, so he was basically just betting blind. He didn't watch football. He was kind of just doing his own thing. And the earliest he can apply for reinstatement is 2023. Yeah. This time next year, basically February 15th. I mean, he's not playing. There's no way he's playing this season. It was harsh. And I think this is the first time that we've seen a player of his stature in the NFL get suspended for gambling in the last 20 years. Even though gambling has become more acceptable in the NFL world,
extremely,
players, like, it's acceptable for fans, not for NFL employees, players, and coaches and personnel. I think that's off limits for them because they make enough money already. I mean, it's not like you have to really bet to, like, make more income. I get it. It's fun, but
him betting willy-nilly, him just not even watching the games at all and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to put in a bet. It is so foolish, to be honest with you. You could have at least given the money to your boy and done it discreetly.
Yeah.
The logic behind it.
He bet on his own phone, I believe they said.
I saw a tweet that says that his DraftKings account or FanDuel account's name was Calvin Ridley from the Atlanta Falcons. It's just like, how dumb can you be, truthfully?
The NFL actually partnered with Sportsbook to crack down on players betting and stuff. So they partner with them to keep track of that type
I just
of stuff.
looked it up because of Adrian Peterson, who pled no contest to it. He played week 1. He was inactive to like week 12, and then was only suspended the last 6 games. So it was kind of like the Deshaun situation where the Vikings said, we're not going to play you, but he's also not officially suspended until it looks like week 12.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Some news.
That was 2012, right?
14.
Oh, wow. Okay.